It's more sarcastic than that.
No,
You're like, what?
Not true.
Do you love me? Do I love you? With our daughters getting married and there's trouble in the town, you're upset, you're worn out. Go inside, go lie down. Maybe it's indigestion. Goldie, I'm asking you a question. Do you love me?
You're a
You're a
fool.
fool. I know. But do you love me? Do I love you? For 25 years I've washed your clothes, cook your meals, clean your house, given you children, milk the cow. After 25 years, why talk about love right now? So what's going on? What's going on is that they grew up in a culture in which love wasn't the issue. You married out of responsibility and obligation. You married to fulfill the word of God. And marriage was not something out of love, it was a sense of responsibility. You did what was asked of you. Now, Tevye realizes that the world has changed. His daughters are marrying for love. And he begins to wonder, this woman I've been living with for all these years, does she love me? Would she marry me if I asked her? And she doesn't understand the question. She resists it. She doesn't live in that world yet. She hasn't crossed over to modernity yet. So she says, what are you asking me? Do I love you? I did what was asked of me. I performed my role, and I performed it well. For 25 years, I washed your clothes, cooked your meals, cleaned your house, given you children, and milked the cow. What do you ask about love right now for? It's scary to her to think about this. It's scary. Do you doubt me? I've done what I asked, what I was asked to do. And now he gets tender. Ready? Goldie. The first time I met you was on our wedding day. I was scared.
I was shy.
I was nervous.
So was I.
But my father and my mother said we learned to love each other. And now I'm asking Goldie, do you love me? Now, it's unusual. In Jewish tradition, it wasn't really the first time you met. Usually you met over dinner with the family all around you. But you were basically strangers to each other. Because you didn't need to know each other, because you didn't get married for the relationship. You got married to build a house. Right? And he's saying to her, now we know each other. And we know each other well. Are we in love? Are we attached? Are we connected? What do I mean to you? Am I just an it? Am I just the person you provide for? And you the person I provide for? Or do we mean something to each other? Right? And she says to him, I'm your wife. I know. But do you love me? Do I love him? Now it's sentimental. For 25 years I've lived with him, fought with him, starved with him. 25 years my bed is his. If that's not love, what is? So she says, look, we've gone through everything together. Doesn't that tell you something? Doesn't that tell you where my heart is? Doesn't that show you where my heart is? We've suffered together. We've worked together. We've shared together. We've laughed together. Doesn't that tell you where my heart is? Of course I love you. Why would I be here if I didn't? Right? And now it ends with the most beautiful little medley, right? Then you love me. I suppose I do. And I suppose I love you too. Everybody together. It doesn't change a thing, but even so, after 25 years, it's nice to know. I want to submit to you a very silly idea. This is not just a song between Tevye and Goldie, between two people living in a ghetto in Russia someplace. This is a song between modernity and the faith traditions that we represent. These are old faith traditions. And they were once given to people with the power of authority. You had no choice but to be the Christian that you were in the community you were raised in. You had no choice but to be the Jew. You were born into it, you lived it and breathed it. You had no choice about it. It wasn't so much something you loved, it was something that was just stuck in you, right? And now you live in modernity. And modernity says, you get choice. You get choice. And the question is, if it wasn't forced on you, if it wasn't given with mama's milk, but if you chose it, would you choose the faith tradition? Would you choose the church? Would you choose the life of Christ? Would you choose it? It's such an interesting, in the Jewish context, would you choose Torah? You know, God gave us Torah. Yeah, I know that, but forget that God gave it to us. Would you accept it now that you have the opportunity to say yes or no? Would you accept it? Do you accept this tradition out of authority? Out of inertia? Because it was just what my parents did. It's the same church they belong to. Or do you accept this tradition out of a personal sense of connection and commitment? Right? And what's beautiful at the end of the story is, she says to him, for 25 years I've lived and fought and starved. 25 years I've shared everything with you. I've given you everything that's me, and you've given me everything that's you. Of course I love you. It doesn't change a thing, but even so, no, it changes everything. Then in modernity, given the opportunity, let people step up and show up on Sunday morning to sit with you, to show up on Wednesday nights to learn with you, show up on Tuesday afternoons to work with you, show up on Thursday mornings to commute. People show up. They know they love this. They come out of love, not out of authority, not out of force. In modernity asks faith, and faith asks modernity. Would you love me? Do you love me? Do you do this out of love? And modernity responds, of course I do. Because without you, I'm not me. Because without you, I have no sense of meaning. I have no sense of purpose. This is the great love song between a community of faith. Now that we live in modernity, would you choose me? And the answer is absolutely, because I need you now more than I've ever needed you before. I need you now more than I've ever needed you before to live in this world. And that's the dignity of the work that we all do and what you do so beautifully. Is you offer people a reason to be in a world which desperately cries out for a reason to be. And you offer people a model of gentleness and the affirmation of life in a moment when death is so just, so all around. And a sense of goodness. And that's, modernity says back to faith, of course I love you. I need you. I need you now more than I've ever needed you. And that's why the song is such a beautiful song. So thank you for the work you do. Thank you for the souls you put into it. Don't get discouraged. Don't give up. Don't stop. Keep at it. It's really the most sacred, holy thing a human being can do in this moment of culture. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
And on that note, it's lunchtime.
It's Rabbi, you have one more handout in your folder.
I got lots more junk. I brought lots of stuff. Junk. I didn't know who you